Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome once again to Rediscovering Your Passion and Purpose with Patty. I am your host, Patty Stuhlin, and I am the Chief Pathfinder of Pathways with Patty. And today we have another joyful and happy guest that I am excited to bring to you today for your listening and viewing pleasure. Today, my guest is Alexi Bracey. She is a health and wellness expert with 2 decades of experience. She found her calling after conquering cancer without medical intervention. Her journey led her to champion the alignment of emotional, mental, and physical systems for holistic healing, harnessing happiness as a powerful tool. Today, she inspires those facing life-altering diagnoses to optimize their well-being, offering expertise to foster positive life changes, improved health, and lasting fulfillment. Alexi, it is a pleasure to have you here today. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much. It's a great opportunity.
Yes, it is. And just like your screen behind you says, happiness matters, I could not agree with that more. So with that said, why don't you go ahead and tell our audience about your challenges, the things that we mentioned just very briefly in your intro, and how those challenges have brought you to your current passion and purpose projects that you have going on.
Okay, well, when you're never prepared to get a diagnosis that's going to change your life, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even end your life. But
Mm-hmm.
I remember distinctly when I got the phone call that I was going to beat it. I had no idea how, but I knew I was going to beat it.
Mm-hmm.
And the research that I did led me to make a few lifestyle changes. And I was a traditional chef at the time. And so I took that hat off and put on one of a plant-based chef hat back then, because the raw food movement was a really big item that had come up from the West Coast, and I was living in British Columbia at the time.
Mm.
And so then I embarked on learning and researching, and then ultimately coaching and helping many people on their health journey, cancer and other modalities. And I still continue to learn every day because there's just new things coming up all the time. And I really enjoyed it. I had a positive outlook, dealing with the mental, emotional, and physical components of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And then, long story short, I was still freelancing as a chef, but an unfortunate accident ended my career as a chef. And so I
Mm.
thought, okay, what am I going to do now? I'm at loose ends. I just didn't know what. But I had gained a reputation over the last few years for telling jokes. And
Mm-hmm.
my unwitting audience was actually fishermen, because I used to freelance in the summers, going back here a bit, um, in remote areas of northern Canada, working as a chef at these lodges. And so this one
Oh.
particular lodge, I was there for 4 summers, and 90% of their guests were repeats that came back year after year, and they are now bringing their grandsons.
Oh my goodness.
And so every year we'd greet the guests and they go, "Oh, Alexi, have you got any jokes?" Because I started sharing jokes with them while they were having their meal, and I go out and chat. Well, certainly I wasn't going to talk about fishing, so I started the jokes. And so this went on for like for 4 years. And so I collected a huge collection. And so then I've been approaching strangers at the dog park, at the grocery store, at the ATM machine, and sharing a joke the same way. Why? Because behind every story, um, behind every face, there is a story of loss, of grief, of trauma. And so
Mm-hmm.
for 2 minutes, I have a captive audience. They laugh out loud. It feeds my soul. It
Mm-hmm.
lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and more importantly, it raises the feel-good hormones in your brain for good brain health. And laughter has been shown to promote longevity. But
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't going to be a stand-up comedian, so what am I going to do? And so it just so happened that a miracle unfolded, and the Happy for No Reason training program fell into my lap. I took the program, and so here I am promoting happiness, not just always tool, or not just always jokes, but different tools we can implement every day just for feel good, not just for ourselves, but to share that happiness with everybody that we meet.
hmm So first off, where do you usually find or come up with your jokes?
Um, People send me jokes.
Oh, good.
Probably people send me jokes more than anything. Or if I share a joke, with somebody on the street, they'll share one back with me. So,
hmm
I've got a huge selection of jokes. I want to keep them clean. That's sort of my only mandate.
Right.
And yeah, I really get a big kick out of it. It feeds my soul, because I like to see a smile on people's faces.
Oh yeah, exactly. So you're doing the raw food thing. You've got your cancer diagnosis. Do you feel in any way as it said, as I had mentioned in your introduction, how you basically overcame your cancer diagnosis on your own? Do you feel that that was through basically changing your diet and your viewpoint of becoming happier? Do you think that that was the foundation for overcoming your cancer diagnosis?
Oh, without a doubt, absolutely 150%. I changed the diet and then, did some mental and emotional work, did some forgiveness work because we all have traumas that we've held on to over the years. I invited a group of women and we did the work based on Marianne Williamson's forgiveness and, really had a positive, optimistic attitude because I was also, you know, when I was, on my journey, I wanted to be um, an inspiration to other people,
hmm
because everybody could use a little bit of lift me up.
Right. Oh yeah. So from the point of you being diagnosed to when that you discovered that you were cancer free, approximately how long was that part of your journey?
1 year.
1 year. Wow.
Yes,
That
yes.
is incredible. Wow. Do you have a really good support system that is also there with you, helping you out?
Yeah, at that time, like I said, I had, a group of women that came over, but they were all new friends because I had just moved out to the West
Mm,
Coast.
okay.
Um, but I still maintain friendship with them 20 years later, and I've moved back to Ontario because I'm originally from Ontario. So a
hmm
support system is paramount,
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
paramount.
Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed that with my group of friends, my rad sisters, as I call them, it never we as a matter of fact, we just had our monthly gathering last night. And it is incredible from the hugs you give each other when you first see one another to the hugs that you give afterwards and the laughter and conversation that you have had during that time last night, even though I was physically tired, I was still pumped up from the endorphins of getting to
Hmm.
spend that happy time with those ladies for those 3 hours. It was incredible. Just another reminder to me how important that support system, that those friendships are, and what a difference that they can make.
Oh, without a doubt, we're not meant to be solo players.
No.
We need friendship, whether it's a neighbor, a family member, a relative, a colleague, a personal friend. We need that social connection. It's really important. The happiness levels have plummeted on the planet 25% in the last
Mm,
4 years. That's
mm,
incredible. I mean, we
yes.
know what happened 4 years ago because people were isolated. They didn't have the friendship, the connection,
hmm
they're working from home. They're not working in an environment with colleagues. So, we're not meant to be solos, not at all.
Exactly. So when did you realize that you had a passion for helping other people or making other people happy?
I don't know. It just happened like really unexpectedly, probably because I had switched my hat from a traditional chef hat to a raw food chef hat. And, you know, um, everybody said, raw food, what's that? And so that sparked an interest in people. And then because I had skills as a chef, I just fine-tuned them. So I wasn't going to cook or steam or bake or broil or whatever. And
hmm
people said, well, tell me more. So it just happened really innocently, unexpectedly. I wasn't planning on it. Just,
hmm
I don't know.
So are you still on a raw food diet then?
I say plant-based.
Or plant-based, excuse me.
I switched now because living,
Okay.
when I lived in Vancouver, when it's 40 degrees or 50 degrees in the wintertime, you can eat a cold bowl of soup. But in Ontario, where it's -20 in the wintertime,
Mm,
you want a hot bowl soup.
yes,
So, the temperature is a little different with the climate. So I
right.
still eat, a significant amount of uncooked raw food, but I definitely plant-based. So I just, promote plant-based for everybody because raw food isn't for everybody.
Can you explain to our audience that may not know or understand what a plant-based diet is, is considered to be?
Well, plant-based diet means that no flesh protein of any kind. So that includes your fish, your beef, your chicken, your pork, anything like that. So
Hmm.
plant-based means it has been grown. So you've got your nuts, your beans, your seeds, your legumes, your mushrooms, your onions, your berries, your fruit, anything that is grown either on a vine, in a tree, or in a farmer's yard. Or now we're growing them in our apartments on the windowsill as long as we have soil. But it has
Hmm.
been grown in water as well.
And then anybody that's thinking about doing that kind of a diet or nutrition program, you really need to make sure that you're getting the right combination of food so you're still getting all the vitamins, nutrients, and things that you need to support your body every day, correct?
Correct, but then unfortunately, our soil is so depleted, we do need to supplement, whether we're eating, flesh protein or not, we need to supplement with our diets, definitely.
Hmm. One of the areas that I know when I used to teach, and I continue to talk about on this podcast in my speaking and stuff, is that no matter what you're going to do in life, if you when you start sharing it with people, your ideas and your thoughts of what you want to do, you will have what some people call those naysayers, or what I like to call people who like to yuck your wow. With that happening, when you have had those people that yuck your wow or are the naysayers, how do you approach those people in responding to them?
Well, I may suggest to them, what health concerns do you have? You know, are you on any pharmaceuticals as a result of why? Just to give people food for thought, because we're not meant to be taking pills for a betterment. That's just a band-aid. So
Hmm.
I just say, look, it works for me. There's a lot of well-respected um, doctors and well-known speakers that are plant-based, and they attribute their longevity and good health to the diet that they eat. I About, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago, the heavyweight for the United States lifted more than 1,000 pounds, and he was a
Mm-hmm.
vegetarian.
Oh.
There's several basketball teams in the United States that are switching over to a plant-based diet. So,
Hmm.
people say, well, I tried it, it didn't work. Well, maybe you didn't try it long enough. Maybe you didn't have a direction on exactly the food combination, and maybe you needed more protein and you're eating too many carbs or whatever.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
bottom line is if you think you can, you're right. If you think you can't, you're also right.
Hmm. So it seems to me that with that kind of attitude, no matter what it may be, whatever topic it may be, when you find someone is either putting you down or yucking your wow, you're not going to own what they're putting on you. You'll say your part, but you're not going to let that affect you by you becoming negative in the process.
No, exactly. Everybody has the choice to make their own decisions. And, I've been thriving on it for more than 20 years. I love it. And I've helped many people on it who were totally amazed at the results they got. So, lots of accolades and testimonials.
Hmm. And I know that you mentioned just a few moments ago a couple of the benefits of being happy. Can you go in more depth as to physiologically what happens when you are happier, or when you when you do random acts of kindness, or you share a happy moment with someone?
Well, it raises your body's frequency, and we're all energy frequency beings. So, on David Hawkins has a chart on the frequency, I think it's called the no, the the happiness frequencies. And so, like the Dalai Lama or Jesus vibrated at 1,000. People
Mm,
that are angry or upset or vindictive vibrate at 200 or 300, and that's when you're inviting disease. So we want to
Oh,
vibrate at joy, which is 600 or above. And to
wow.
illustrate happiness versus not, Dr. Emoto took 2 glasses of water. Under 1 glass of water, he wrote the word love. Under another glass of water, he wrote the word hate. He froze the water and looked at the ice crystals under a microscope. The one that said love were beautifully formed snowflakes. The one that was under hate were all gnarled and just a mess of frozen ice. So,
Wow.
it's big, so it speaks right there. I mean, people talk to their plants and they swear by it. They say, my plants grow because I'm talking to them. People really tend with love and care to their gardens, so the gardens grow and thrive. It's an
Mm-hmm.
energy exchange. So it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with our bodies. We need that higher frequency. And so when you give love or kindness or joy or gratitude and you share it with others, it raises your frequency and the other person as well.
Wow. So 600 is the goal for each day that you want to get to.
At least, yes,
At
and
least
above.
that. Wow. That's like an aha moment right there for me. I'll tell you, I'm just like I had not heard that before. That's a good one. I'm going to keep that in mind because one of the things in my signature talk of living your best dash, because dash stands for that I've made up, daring to achieve a successful and happy life. And one of the things that I encourage people to do is when they wake up in the morning and maybe they're not feeling so chipper or anything else, is to go into their bathroom, look into their mirror, and I challenge them to say, HAPPY. And then I dare them not to smile, not to giggle, not to laugh at themselves because they're going to do that. And as soon as you do that, that's when you really have changed your intention for the day. It may not have started out very positive when you first got out of bed, but doing that is a way of changing your intention. And I know for me, not saying that everything for the rest of the day is going to be perfect and positive and wonderful, but by changing that intention of being happy for the day, I know that when I go out in the world, whether I'm taking a walk or I'm going to the store or whatever it might be, when I see people and I say good morning or hello or anything like that, you never know what kind of a ripple effect that is going to create on the happy scale. And that ripple effect is infinity, because you don't know. And what a remarkable thing to do. So I encourage everybody listening or watching on YouTube right now, tomorrow morning when you get up, look at yourself in the mirror when you first get up and say, I'm HAPPY, and then watch that smile form, watch that giggle or laugh, and see how your intention and how your mood changes immediately from that.
What a great idea. And you're smiling when you're sharing with me too. So I
Yeah.
mean, when they're in the mirror, I mean, that's just magnified.
Yeah. And it's just like I have found and you have found as well, is that just doing that joke that you're doing for everyone, or a smile, or saying, good morning, good afternoon, whatever, hey, how are you, whatever, even if you don't know that person, um, it's a validation. And when we all get validated, that's like somebody sees me, I do exist. And then right there, you're talking about vibration. That truly is something that is going to raise not only your vibration, but it's going to spark that person's vibration also. And that's another thing that's like that ripple effect. And I just think that's, I mean, what does it cost you? It costs you a moment, a second of your time, and the effects for you and that other person is totally priceless. I mean, that's amazing.
I know. It is.
Yeah.
Doesn't cost you anything.
So Alexi, through all of this with your happiness matters, are you working with people, or do you talk with people, or what is it that you are doing with your happiness matters?
I'm talking with people. I'm on podcasts, being interviewed. I'm starting my own, and I'm looking for more opportunities to speak on stages. because given the world as it is today, we need a little bit of happiness. So even
Mm-hmm.
for like corporations, organizations, clubs, when they have their annual meetings and it's all serious about, the new innovations and what they're going to do, just let me come and speak and just bring a little sunshine, break the 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 energy of the meeting, which is very serious, to bring some
Mm-hmm.
laughter and some joy, just to
Mm-hmm.
lighten people's feelings and thoughts of it, and to encourage them to take heed and take the steps that the meeting may be about to make those changes, because they'll feel more self-confident, more self-reliant, and they'll feel like they want to spread it far and wide. Share it with your family, share it with your colleagues, share it with your neighbors, because everybody's
Mm-hmm.
going to go, there's something different about that. I want a little bit more of that.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's so ironic that that we're doing our interview this today, because the newsletter that I just wrote to go out to my subscribers, the title is Practicing Random Acts of Kindness.
Mm,
And it will go out this week on Thursday. And one of the main people that I write about is my college advisor, who became my mentor, my colleague, and I consider her my sister now. Um, she was the one that introduced me really big time to practicing random acts of kindness and giving happies to people. And so in the
mm,
newsletter, I talk about that. And sadly, she's just been, well, a couple months ago, she was diagnosed with Lewy body syndrome, which
mm,
is a neurological and
right.
physiological disease, and it's progressing quite quickly. And the thing is, even though she is not not in the present moment very often, no matter whether she is or she isn't, it always comes back to our conversations. And I got to spend the last 3 days with her. Everything is about being kind,
Mhm,
practicing random acts of kindness, happies, how it can be, giving the cashier at the grocery store a little bites, a Hershey kiss, and just saying,
mhm,
you know what, thank you so much for what you're doing. I really appreciate it. There was a woman at a place that we went that she just walked up to her and she goes, I really like your earrings. They are absolutely beautiful. And then this conversation she started having with this woman, just based on that, I mean, you could just see this woman beaming because Pam had made this comment to her. And so that just has gone to prove to me, no matter whether someone it is right in their mind, so to speak, normal, if that's whatever normal is for anybody, or even this lovely dear person that I love her to death, and this dementia that is taking over, happiness, random acts of kindness, and being kind are still at the core of her energy, her soul,
mm,
everything. And that is so powerful to me, that even though I know she will never get to write her book about happies, which I will, in the book that I'm currently writing right now, I'm going to have a whole chapter. The last chapter in the book will all be Pam's, based on her random acts of kindness and happies. My point is, for all of this, that is how powerful a happy person can be. People that practice random acts of kindness, and just taking those moments, those few seconds, just to validate somebody else, what a difference it can make in this world. And even if you don't want to look at it globally, just in your little part of the world, that's all it takes, is just those making eye contact, saying hello, how are you, whatever. I mean, if all of us started just doing that every single day, oh my gosh, what an effect it would have on the world.
absolutely. Absolutely. Just to illustrate a point, there's a gentleman that I see periodically with his bicycle, and he never smiles. And I say to him, and he just sort of frowns and walks away. Well, one day I said to him, I said, can I share a joke with you? I told him a joke. He laughed out loud. Now, whenever he sees me, he talks to me, he pets my dogs, totally a different person. And
Mm-hmm.
all it did was, 2 minutes of my time.
That's exactly right. That's right. And that those 2 minutes of your time are priceless for that gentleman. And as you've taught us today, it's raising your vibration and his. How cool is that?
Hmm. Absolutely.
So, Alexi, what would you say is probably the best piece of advice that anyone has ever given you?
Believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect others to believe in you, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's awesome. Um, so what would you say that you are passionate about right now, personally and professionally?
I just really want to get the word out for people that, you can practice happiness for yourself. Because if you're happy first, then you're going to want to share it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, by the same token, when you share it with others, what you're hurting inside, that's a little different story.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this really quick 1 minute, 2 minute exercise that I suggest for people to do when you're not really down, when you're down, or maybe you had a disagreement, or something didn't go your way, or you're late for a meeting, or you have to go see your boss, or you got cut off in traffic. It's sort of a take on heart coherence. And so what you do is you breathe in a positive emotion and you breathe out a positive emotion. Then you breathe in another one and you breathe out another one. And you
Mm-hmm.
do that for as long as you want. You don't have to breathe it for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. You can do it on your walks. Before
Mm-hmm.
going in to see your boss, just sneak into the washroom and do it for half a minute because you will feel so much better. So, for example, I'm going to breathe in love. I'll breathe out happiness. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
breathe in compassion. I'm going to breathe out empathy. I'm going to breathe in joy. I'm going to breathe out gratitude. Whatever words you want to pick. And it
Mm-hmm.
just changes your demeanor, your heart coherence, your heart and your brain are connected. It slows your pulse, it lowers cortisol. And it's just something you can do all the time. If you're having problems getting to sleep, do it when you lay down.
Wow, I love that. And that's really super easy. And I mean, you can do it whenever or wherever you want. When you just need that little pick me up, it'll make a big difference, won't it?
That's right, exactly.
Wow. So right now where you're at in your life, what would you say your purpose is personally and professionally?
Well, definitely to leave my mark that I was the happy advocate. And she really that I went out of my way to do little random acts of kindness for people, to put a smile on their face. Um, yeah, I want to be known for that, definitely.
Perfect.
That I random acts of kindness and I made people smile. And I sort of gave them positivity when they were down and out.
That's a magnificent purpose. I love that. So what would you say, Alexi, is your superpower?
My superpower is bringing joy, definitely bringing joy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yes,
love
and
doing it.
just like you're doing right now for all of our listeners and myself right now, that is a wonderful superpower. So how would you say that you are living your best life, or as I like to say, living your best dash?
Well, in spite of the challenges that I have had and the challenges that I'm still experiencing, I still have a positive outlook that things will get better. I'm confident, things are better, not getting better. Things are better.
Mm-hmm.
And the sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I have other opportunities that will still unfold where I can make a bigger impact.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. So do you have a joke that you would like to share with our audience?
Okay, let me think here. I have a few of them. Okay, so lady rushes out of the drugstore and she realizes that she's locked the keys to her car. And she clasps her hands together, looks up to the heavenly skies, and she says, God, please send me somebody to unlock the keys to my car. 1 minute, a biker appears. Tattoo, skull cap, big beer belly. Hey, lady, you need some help? Oh, please, please, sir. Unlock the keys to my car. I have these missed for my daughter. She's sick at home. Can you unlock my car? 3 minutes, the car is unlocked. She clasps her hands one more time, looks up to the skies, and she says, God, thank you so much for sending me such a nice man. The biker overhears. He says, lady, I'm not a nice guy. I just got out of prison for car theft. One more time with clasped hands. She looks up to the skies and she says, God, thank you so much for sending me a professional.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that. That is perfect. Look, my vibration is already, I mean, it was already getting high when I was with you this whole time, but it's even elevated even more with that. Thank you so much, Alexi. So with that, do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom that you would like to share with the audience?
When you get up in the morning, just commit. What random act of kindness can you show to somebody else and to yourself? Don't forget yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. Because as my friend Brenda Susie says, self-love and self-care is not selfish. You definitely want to take care of yourself and make yourself happy. Yes, most definitely. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Alexi, for being my guest today. Could you please tell our audience how they can connect with you, which I'm sure many people are going to want to, because they're going to want what you got.
Well, definitely the easiest would be to email me, my name at Gmail, or go to my LinkedIn profile, which is just my name, Alexi Bracey. And you can always message me there and I'll gladly get back to you.
And for those of you that may be new to the podcast, know that when you go to the description, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on one of the 10 podcast formats, in the description are those links that Alexi just mentioned. And you can just touch on the link and it'll take you directly to her so you can get in touch with her. Thank you so much, Alexi, for being my guest today and making me and so many of our wonderful listeners and watchers happy today.
Well, thank you. I feel happier as well for sharing.
Excellent. 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 And for you out there listening, remember to subscribe and follow this podcast. Go ahead and invite your family and friends to also subscribe as well. And you know what? While you're at it, could you please go ahead and hit that 5-star rating and write a review? That would be absolutely awesome. Don't forget to check out my website at www.pathwayswithpatty.org and sign up for a Zoom chat with me or to get my Pathway to a New Beginning roadmap. So until we meet again, continue to live your best dash and know that life's an adventure. And I want you to enjoy the journey because your life matters. Thank you for joining us today, and may God bless you all.